A very big problem in the online gym space is that there is a lot of BS advice from some that are not bad to some that will literally undo all of your progress. And so in this video, I'm going to be going over 10 of the worst pieces of gym advice that'll keep you skinny fat forever. In 10th place, we have you need the perfect workout split. This is mostly cope. Okay, your workout split actually matters a lot less than something like intensity or volume. And, guys online, they'll overhype the PPL split. But the truth is, no matter what split, whether if it's the PPL, upper, lower, full body, maybe even the bro split, it's practically going to give you the same results. Okay, as long as you get a solid hypertrophy stimulus 1 to 3 times each week for each muscle group, you will grow. Okay, at the end of the day, obviously, having a split is going to be better than not having a split. I mean, it just gives you structure for you. But whether or not the split will work for you depends entirely on how consistent you can actually be with that split. I do full body 3 to 4 times a week. Other days I do plyos, cardio, and it works for me because I rarely skip a day. And it should be the same for you. Like, pick a workout split that you can actually personally stick to, not for a week, not for a month, but for the rest of your life. Okay? And to be honest, like 9 times out of 10, your workout split is not going to be what's holding your physique back. All right, in 9th place, we have do mostly isolation exercises. I think that this is very 100% slop advice. I think that you should do the opposite. You should go as far as to only do compound exercises, which sounds, absolutely retarded at first, but let me explain. Isolation exercises are exercises that only target one specific muscle group. For example, a bicep curl. If you were to only do isolation exercises, your workouts would be 2, maybe 3 hours long, which is very inefficient to hit all of the muscle groups that you want to target. On the other hand, compound exercises, for example, a bench press, target more muscle groups in less time. You can essentially get the same muscle building stimulus from 3 hours of isolation exercises in 45 minutes of only doing compound exercises. And there is actually no evidence that isolation exercises build more muscle than compound. So it's literally more efficient. Like, there's no reason to not be doing compound exercises. And I'm actually a case myself. In 2 years, I was able to make this transformation. I gained 25 kilograms, maintained my body fat without ever doing a single isolation exercise. From 13 to 15 years old. In 8th place, we have you can outtrain a bad diet. The idea of as long as it fits your macros is heavily flawed. Okay, calories actually do matter. A lot more so if you're on a cut. But if you're bulking, which you should be 95% of the time, what you eat matters just as much as how much you eat. Okay, if you eat stuff like junk food, if you're gonna eat seed oils, sugar all the time, you're gonna feel like shit in the gym. You're gonna feel like shit every single day. You're gonna be more likely to skip the gym more often, especially on a bulk. You want to be minimizing fat gain whilst maximizing your muscle gain. Right? If you eat slop like this, you're not gonna achieve anything. You're gonna achieve the opposite. You're gonna maximize your fat gain and minimize your muscle gain. And if you do that, then you would have to go through an unnecessary cutting phase where it's going to slow down your progress. It's going to stunt your growth. If you're a teenager, just to get to the same physique if you were to go on a clean bulk instead. So dirty bulking is not worth it. Yeah, I tried to bulk up eat big to get big, but then, I got too fat and then I cut again, which then stunted my growth and put me basically right back where I started. The only fix to this is just to clean bulk, lift for real. Yeah, eat a bunch of healthy foods. And yeah, here's some of the foods that you can eat. Doesn't matter who you are, just have some discipline to eat lots of animal meats, animal fats, have some fruits, 300 calorie surplus. You can get that from just eating these foods. I guarantee you, you'll have such a better, more aesthetic physique than the guy who just eats junk food all day, every day. By the way, if you found this video valuable so far, could you just help me out and make sure that you are subscribed? I'm trying to get to 1K subs by the end of this year, and you'd also be the first to get notified whenever a new video gets uploaded. It's a win-win. In 7th place, we have volume is everything. And yeah, it's just a big hope. I mean, volume's super overrated, right? You know the saying that, oh, your workouts must at least last 2 hours or you're missing out on some gains. Perhaps you heard that, and you think you must do at least 20 sets per muscle group per week to optimize your growth. But the truth is, for most beginners, volume should not be the priority. Doesn't matter how many sets you do if in all of these sets you just goof around and you dance around with the light weights and you never get anywhere close to failure. I guarantee you that one proper set with good form, right rep range, will build you a far better, more aesthetic physique than 10 of these half-ass farting around sets. That doesn't mean that volume is unimportant. It just means that for most beginners, maybe just start with 2 to 3 sets per exercise. Can be a 30 to 45-minute workouts where you choose maybe around 3 to 5 compound exercises and you do them to failure with really good form. So yeah, my honest advice, actionable step you can take right now, is to go half the number of sets you're doing right now and then train twice as hard as before and switch to doing compound exercises, and I guarantee you will like triple, quadruple your growth even in like 6 months. All right, in 6th place, soreness equals growth. A common mistake I see a lot of guys who are just getting to the gym is that they will associate soreness with muscle gain. But the truth is that soreness can come from anything. Okay, it can come from muscle cramps, from doing cardio, which does not cause you to gain muscle, by the way. It can come from bad posture, which also does not cause you to gain muscle. It can cause you from lifting weights, but not due to the soreness. Okay, and most of the time, like, the soreness you feel in the gym is your body's response to an endurance stimulus, where it trains your muscles' tolerance to lactic acid, which is what gives your muscles the burn, but it's not directly what gives your muscles a reason to grow. Okay, and the truth is, there is no actual quick visible sign that you're gaining muscle, but I mean, if there's just one advice I can give to you, is just to stop looking for soreness and start looking for mechanical tension. Mechanical tension means high intensity, high weight, lower reps, train relatively close to maximum capacity, at least 75% of your 1 rep max, training only 1 to 3 reps shy of failure at most. Full range of motion, good form, controlled eccentric. If you just do that, stop worrying about if you're getting sore from your workouts. Stop using that to judge if you're gaining muscle or not, and just trust the process. I guarantee you'll make so much more progress immediately. In 5th place, we have pre-workout is necessary. Okay, for the most part, like, this is actually kind of true. Okay, but it's only really true for the guys who eat like shit, who sleep like shit, who doesn't really do anything for their health outside of the gym. They've maxed out their gym, but they don't really do anything for their recovery outside of it. Then what they need is this type of artificial energy for them to even feel normal, for them to even feel, you know, proper to go to the gym. The problem with pre-workout and basically all fitness supplements is not only do these companies they need their product to work, they need their product to sell. Okay, so what do? They put artificial sweeteners, coloring, food additives. They want you to keep hooked onto their product so they can charge you an extra buck for it. Right? And there's just so many healthier, cheaper alternative ways that you can basically, get the same effects for. And the one ingredient that most pre-workouts have is just caffeine, which if you buy a singular caffeine pill, it's 10 cents, right? Which is a lot cheaper than the pre-workout that you're going to get. The biggest tip I can give to you before the gym, forget about pre-workout. Just eat a banana, honey, maybe some fast digesting carb. Take 5 grams of unflavored creatine, which also improves your strength, makes your muscle fuller, and you'll just have such a better gym performance than 99% of guys. In fourth place, you only need to train to mild discomfort. One of the biggest copes of the century. For most guys, mild discomfort means literally nothing. It does not mean anything, right? For most people's pain tolerance, especially beginners' pain tolerance, it's usually very low. Okay, if you're grunting and making faces in the first few reps, it usually just means that you're overreacting. Okay, it doesn't actually mean that you're training hard. Intensity is just so much more important for mechanical tension, and mechanical tension is just so important for muscle growth. So you need to be training 1 to 3 reps shy of failure. And especially for guys who've never actually really lifted for real before, you need to be constantly reminding yourself of what failure feels like. Yeah, you need to be constantly breaking the mental barrier that your mind has put on your body. Always step outside of your comfort zone and always push for an extra rep. And the best way to do that is just to train your last set all the way to failure, where you just literally genuinely go all the way to failure until the point where every single session, it would literally feel abnormal to not get anywhere close to failure. Like you would automatically be lifting beyond your comfort zone. All right, in third place, sleep does not matter for gains. If you get bad sleep, you might as well not be lifting or dieting at all. Okay, bad sleep is going to kill your progress. And I mean all of it. Okay, if I could go back in time, the first thing I would do is just slap some sense into my younger self to go to sleep earlier rather than playing video games all night. There is actually a very strong direct correlation between higher quality sleep and muscle growth and how aesthetic you look. Okay, that includes muscle growth, fat loss, performance in the gym, recovery, mental willpower. Right? Everything will improve if you get better sleep. And to master your sleep, you must stay consistent with a couple of things. And it's mainly just these. I want you to wake up and sleep at the same time every single day, even on weekends/holidays. And I want you to sleep for the same hours every single day. This means if you're going to sleep 9 hours one day, don't randomly sleep 11 hours the next day. You need to be winding down before you sleep. So this means no eating, no caffeine, no exercise, no lights, cold room, meditate, do anything that will get your heart rate to be lower. And then get 10 minutes of direct sunlight as soon as possible after waking up. And all of this might seem really complicated, and you might think, oh, it's not really necessary if I want to build an aesthetic physique. But I guarantee you, please just trust me, do this, get better sleep, and not only will you have a better physique, you also start feeling a lot healthier as well. In second place, you don't have to bulk to gain muscle. A lot of guys have this idea that bulking causes too much fat gain and you can just eat maintenance and go on a calorie deficit and still gain the same amount of muscle. And the truth is, you will actually gain a small amount of fat, even on a 200 to 300 calorie over maintenance controlled clean bulk. But the one thing that you have to understand is, although you will be gaining more total fat mass, your total fat percentage, your body fat percentage will actually drop because you'll be gaining more muscle than fat. And so then there's less fat mass compared to your total body mass. So let's say, for example, right now, you are at 60 kilograms, 20% body fat, you have 30 kilograms of muscle and 12 kilograms of fat. And you go on a bulk to 80 kilograms, you build 19 kilograms of muscle and only 1 kilogram of fat, which is actually very achievable on a really clean, controlled diet. You'd actually be dropping your body fat percentage from 20 to 16%, which is very impressive without even cutting. And I know all of this sounds very complicated, but the most practical thing that you can do is just to eat until you're full and then eat some more. Yes, you don't have to track calories. Okay, calorie trackers don't take into consideration body composition, how much you ate the day before, your appetite, your metabolism, which all play a role in how well your bulk goes. And your brain is actually more accurate at gauging all of those factors, how much your calories you're supposed to be eating. So if you're a skinny fat teenager and you're not coming off of a bulk for the next, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, it's genuinely not really worth tracking calories, to be honest. But in first place, we have Natty limit is low, just hop on gear. Okay, this is beyond cope. I mean, if you hop on gear before even getting close to your Natty limits, I just think it's a massive, L. You're not really disciplined. You're not willing to put in hard work to get the results you want. Instead, you sacrifice the thing which is most important to you, your health and longevity, for a couple years of glory. Look at the guys who took the roids and looked the best in their prime years. Look at Arnold, look at Ronnie Coleman, look at the Mr. Olympias now, and they can't produce test naturally anymore. After a few years of taking roids, once they're off of it, they just look like this. They're either disabled or they're dead or they're just unaesthetic as hell. I guarantee you when I say, trust me when I say this, your Natty limit 99 times out of 100 is going to be more aesthetic, more attractive, more better looking than the 120 kilogram mass monster. I can guarantee you that. I mean, just at what point does it become too big? Like when you can't go to sleep without being strapped to a breathing device to your head? Obviously this guy is doing this to feed his own ego, but you do you. But just know that aesthetics do not necessarily equate to pure mass, and pure mass almost certainly does not equate to aesthetics. But anyways, if you like what you see here, I've got a free and paid private community. It's the top link in the description. I've got a bunch of private one-on-one calls there. I've got a bunch of courses on helping you get into the best shape of your life. And if you join right now, there's a free forum where you can post there. There's a lot of like-minded members, and I'll be posting there fairly frequently too. So yeah, what would the best version of yourself do right now? Goodbye.